Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Her Accountability Coach. Today we're going to be talking about mom guilt. This one was a hard one for me to write because it made me feel like everything I ever battled with, I was shown through this podcast that I got healed from. I know as moms, we become overthinkers. Why? We want to give our children the best. We want them to only have great memories. We want their childhood to be better than ours, but we cannot allow mom guilt to step in. Mom guilt is something that we put on ourselves. We have to embrace the journey of being mom, right? And everything that comes with it. So let's talk about common triggers. Common triggers is we're having a hard time balancing our work life and our home life. We made poor decisions with money. That's a major trigger. We're managing too much at the same time. That's a trigger, guys. Comparing yourself to other moms. Now, we may say that we don't do that, but what happens when you're strolling TikTok and you're watching different things, different moms do different things, and then you start saying, oh, these are the things that I want to do, but due to time and finances, you can't. But we have to remember that everybody's story looks different and everybody's home life is definitely different. What you see in that 2-minute clip might just be the story in that moment and they never do it again. So do not get caught up on the things that you're seeing because it's dangerous. Another thing is expectations. We put too many expectations on ourselves and on the people we live with in our home. Expectations is a dangerous word. Why? Because you're expecting this person to do something. You're expecting something to change. And what you are expecting, that might only be your perception. It may not be no one else's. So having high expectations for what the day will look like, if the day includes other people, we know something always goes a different direction. It's not always bad, but we know as moms, we're pulled right, left, and some days we may write our to-do list, wake up early, and oh my goodness, have a great morning. But once them kids are getting up and it's time to start our day, you are in full mommy mode until they go to school or until they go to sleep. So expectations is a word that we have to change into perspective. So the perspective here is what? This is how I actually want my day to go, but this is how it actually happened. And at the end of the day, this is why it's so important to be able to reflect. Why? Because your expectation now is your perception. And now you're grateful to see another day. Why? Because you're not coming into the day with so much pressure and anxiety. You're coming into the day with the right tools to combat the day. Another thing that we have to stop doing is, in mom guilt, we have to remember that our finances sometimes is not our fault at times that we may not have made enough money. That's not our fault. Our schedule sometimes evolve around our children, our families. So being a mom, making extra income, that might be hard for you. Why? Because you don't have anybody to help you keep them. So we have to remember that our financial state, it does get better. But if you have small children, especially minor, it is hard for you to cultivate a dream, a hobby, anything when they're little. The older they get, you get a little bit more freedom, but now the child costs more. Now you're looking at, okay, I want to go and get a part-time job. I want to start a business. When do you have the time? So this is why when I talked about time management, when we went through what that looked like, again, we have to take the guilt and the shame off of it that our finances look how they look. Some of us do have a mismanaging problem, which it happens. Why? Because when you were younger, you never learned discipline when it came to your finances. A lot of us eventually do the adulting thing and we learn, okay, I got to pay my bills on time, fix my credit. Like all of this stuff goes in the alignment of your adulting journey. Some of us were taught growing up about money and finances. And then a lot of us, we were not taught that. We became self-taught bankers, self-taught financiers. So that means, hey, if I have it in the moment, I'm going to spend it. Nothing wrong with that. But in the long run, you pay a dear price. Mom guilt is cured when you have better communication with yourself and with others. Communicating with yourself is you being realistic to your home situation. If you work a job, you have more than one child, realistically, what are you going to save? Not unless you have a job or a business that you make a certain amount to where you can save. So now the mom guilt comes in on the financial part. Why? We can't take a family vacation. The kids are home all day. They don't do anything extra and fun. But are you aware that that baby or that child is just happy to be home? And they have the games, they have the TikToks. Like they're so preoccupied that they're not like what we were. Go outside and play, go to the park. Kids now are very stationary. As long as you have Wi-Fi, that is like going to Disney World. So now we have this fantasy as a mom to where we think that it takes all of this stuff. Girl, it does not take all of this stuff. If you have Wi-Fi and food, that is a great time now. You literally could buy a game for $7 or $8 and they play it. You literally do not have to feel guilty because you're not taking a family vacation every year. Yes, that's great. That's good. But as they get older, things will change. Your finances, they change. Nothing stays the same. But while they're babies and while they're little, nurture them. Teach them that they don't need a whole lot to have fun. See, we began to open up the reins for our children, for them to believe that they need all of this stuff. Teach them when they're little the simple things, and they will be happy. We start making things overdone and overrated, and now you can't keep up with that. Now you have a problem because now this child is saying, you showed me this, now you can't do this no more, and now the household is destroyed. No, keep it simple. Like I had to learn this with my next children because with my first one, I did not learn that. I bought the Jordans, I bought the games, I did all the stuff. Now this child grew up and now they're like, okay, but you always bought me Jordans. Oh, you always, And then my financial state changed and then I couldn't do it. I've learned with my daughters, keep it simple. They like simplicity. My children now, I'm so grateful that I learned, but again, I had to learn that they like it simple. We go and we overcomplicate this thing called being a mom, okay? Mom guilt for a lot of us stepped in because we have no self-compassion. You do what you can do and celebrate that. Like I had to start telling myself, God, I thank you I woke up this morning. I thank you that you gave me the ability to gain wealth. And when I started changing my mindset, mom guilt left. When I started being in circles around women that valued the same thing I valued, mom guilt left. And when you have mom guilt, anxiety comes in, depression, you are constantly overthinking, you're overdoing something. Listen, your child only knows what you show them. Your child only has an understanding according to what they are exposed to. So here we are as moms, and we're overthinking an easy process. Children are like sponges. So if you never put no water on that sponge, it never can get wet to clean the surface. It's the same thing. If you never pour into this child that all this stuff that we see of the world, it is something that comes and goes. Start teaching your kids that. Start teaching them the value of money so that they know, okay, if mommy buys me this toy, then now we have less money to go to Disney. But because we don't know how to teach that, these conversations never come up, or they're harder conversations when they're older, because now you're trying to break off all the bad habits that you started. Learn from now. Keep it simple. Teach your children value. Teach your children what is really important, what is really valuable. Do not turn family moments into a money empire. Oh, I got to get the clothes. I got to get the shoes. I got to do the hair. No. Children only know what they are introduced to. And if your child is seeing videos of, I don't know, big parties and all this stuff, of course, they have TikTok, they have YouTube, they have Instagram. Yes. But your child will also understand and love their family dynamic so much to where they're going to say, I don't really need that. Now, are you going to, as a mom, feel guilty because you can't every year do a big party and all stuff? Of course you are. But this is when you reassess yourself and say, what's more important? What is more important in this moment? In the times now that we're living in, there's no money to waste. And there's surely no time to waste. Every day that we wake up, somebody has left this earth. So I would rather teach my children what they need to be successful versus what I wanted. What I wanted sometimes is like dangerous, because why? I want my kids in the nice clothes, the nice shoes, everything gotta match, color coordinate. I love all of that. But at the end of the day, now it turns into a Nordstrom's or a Target matching. Okay? So again, I had to change my brain and say, okay, girls, stay out of Nordstrom's and take your behind a Target. But again, my perception, I want my kids in the best of the best, and all of that is good. But when they can't fit them clothes no more, right? After they've worn it, more than likely they won't wear it again because they done grew some more. Now I have a bunch of clothes that I bought, and more than likely they're given away or they're thrown away. Why? Because they no longer fit. And had I spent $200 in a savings fund for them, or a college fund, or a family vacation, we could have went on the vacation. They could have graduated with money in the bank. Why? Because I made better decisions. If you take your child to Target every time they need clothes, that's where they're going to go. If you take your child to Nordstrom's every time they need clothes, that's where their mind goes. So we have to learn as moms, our job is to program our child to be realistic in every situation and teach them how to problem solve. Teach them the strategy here. If we buy one shoe for $200, that's all you get. Of course, in the child's mind, I don't care, I want it. But if you teach them the value of having multiples, now their mindset will shift and say, all right, mama, maybe I don't want these $200 shoes, but maybe I can go get 2 or 3 pair. But it's all in how you teach them. If you just say, no, I'm not buying that, so now the child gets rebellious. Now the child feels like, why are you telling me no, but you go and get your hair done and you go buy yourself some shoes. See, avoid all of that. You go be the example. So now for me, when we need an outfit, guess what? Everybody in my household be like, Mommy, Target? Oh, okay. So now my $400 is actually probably $100. I got everybody, a shirt, some shorts, and we're out the door. So because I did not put value on Nordstrom stuff, their brain is not able to go there. I put value on the Target stuff, and now their brain goes there. So if you are a mom, let's just say, that loves to shop, go ahead, shop, buy your kids everything that they need. Do what you got to do. You need to start a Poshmark store and recycle the clothes and sell them and get the money, and then go out and buy them more clothes. Again, creating a system, become logical, and then mom guilt goes. Anything that you have to overthink, double think, that means what? It's not a fit for your family unit. So go on. As long as your child has love, food, everything they need, why go add extra stress when that baby don't know? Why are you so stressed out? Do what you can do. And when you learn that, more comes. When you already spending money that you don't have now, you have acquired debt for a moment, for a party, for a trip. Not worth it. If you really believe in your heart of hearts that God supplies every need, believe him in this. Believe him that he will show you a pathway to get an extra stream of income. He'll show you an avenue of where you need to stop spending in and underspend. But again, because we have no real relationships anymore with God, with praying, we don't believe. We say that we do, but our actions say differently. So even for me, I'm teaching my children to speak what they want. I'm teaching my children how to have a closer relationship so they know how to pray. They know what to say while they're praying. Because we have to teach our children that we as moms, we're here to nurture them. So if you're all the time stressed out, having anxiety, panic attacks, can't sleep because of a financial issue, it's easy how to fix financial problems. Stop spending money. Get what you need and leave the rest alone. Sell the stuff that you have that you don't use. Start Poshmark stores. Do what you have to do to get rid of the stuff and leave the habit behind. A lot of us go through a cycle. Keep going through a cycle, because we never learned how to stop in the beginning. Going forward, when you think about mom guilt, you need to also take in an account for you're doing the best that you can do. You did the best that you can do. Nothing more, nothing less. What you introduce your child to is what they're going to want. And it's an easy conversation. Hey, this is what it looks like going forward. So as you learn and you process, they will too. But if you never sit down and have real conversations with your children, they'll never learn. If you're supposed to be the one that they look up to, they see, and they follow, okay, no problem. Start doing the things that you would want them to do so that they become better than you. Don't keep infusing your bad habits on them because you feel guilty because of how you were raised. You feel guilty because of what your childhood was. I'm pretty sure your childhood and their childhood looks totally different, okay? It's 20 years later, 15 years later. I mean, however old you and that child is, it looks totally different. How I was raised and how my children are raised, it is two different things. The world is different. The money look different. The schools are different. So if they're being brought into a different environment, why are you bringing the old environment to a new environment? And this is something that we all have to struggle with. My children do not know what my childhood really looked like. Why? Because I'm not talking about it. I'm trying to outdo what my childhood was. And it's not a bad childhood or, anything, but just to say, overdoing something that my child never even had before or missed. It's like, okay, girl, stop. Let's get a real reality check here. The real reality check is called mom guilt. We want them to have all of this stuff and be great and all this stuff when your child is not thinking about that. Your child could care less. All they want to do is be loved, be cared for, food, games, phone, Wi-Fi. We are in a technology space. Technology has took over everything. We used to go outside and play and be happy to be at the park and all this stuff. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. A lot of our children now are fine with being in AC, home, eating, and they are enjoying life. They really are. So stop the mom guilting and know you're doing a great job. You did a great job. All you need to do is do your best every day. Do your best every day, and everything else will fall in line. Learn discipline. Give yourself grace. And remember, somebody's always watching. That baby see you do everything, and they're going to do what they were taught and what they saw. Exposure is a real thing. Exposure is real. What your child see is what they're going to do. So you as a mom, your job is to guard their eyes, guard their ears, their mouth. And you have to be the one that drives the ship in the right direction. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope that you got something from this podcast. You guys know the whole month of July, we are offering the full credit repair suite and her accountability coach. I wanted you guys to financially get a mindset of fixing your credit, doing a budget, and learning financial discipline in the month of July. So if you join this month in July, you will get all your credit repair stuff, you'll get your budgeting, and you will be able to actually join the challenge at any time that you join and get step by step of how you fix and maintain your credit score. So if you would like to join, the link will be at the bottom of the podcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.